Thank you for your great explanation on that.
All the men are mad at me now. I don't
I
know.
know.
God, sorry, guys.
We'll find out. Thank you so much for tuning into Second Act TV. I'm so happy to welcome Robert Manni back to Second Act, the author of The Guys Guide to Love and host of Guys Guide Radio and Television. Robert, thank you so much for joining me again.
My pleasure. Always great to be here, Silka. Thank you.
I love having you here. If for some reason you have not seen Robert on this channel yet, Robert, yeah, he's the guy's guy. He helps women understand what men really think. And we have so many segments with you that we'll link to our playlist. What I want to talk to you about today is that I recently had Bob Grant. He's also a coach for women and coaches women to understand men better. He's terrific. And on his website, I just saw something that I want to talk with you about as well. He has in his blog, he calls it 50 universal truths about men that I saw so interesting. And I thought, God, you know what? I'm going to throw some of these at Robert without even telling him. So Robert has not heard this before. So I'm just going to throw this at you and then you give me your response if that's,
Let's do it.
what
Let's
you
bring
think
it
about
on.
it.
Bring it on.
So the first one, and again, there's 50. I'm just going to meet, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 or so. But the first one, being respected is more important to me than being loved.
Well, I think to love somebody, you need to respect them, unless it's like a puppy or something like that. So I think there is a relationship between respect and love, but I wouldn't say respect is more important than love. I think they're intertwined, if you will,
Yeah.
interrelated.
Yeah. And incidentally, for all our men listening, I'd love to get the comments on this, what you think, because I thought this was super interesting. So yeah, please leave your comments so we can interact with you. The next one, when you speak softly, I can't help but listen.
Well, that's an old adage that it's like the power of pause. It helps. And so if you can get your points across by speaking softly, a lot of times people will listen more closely. So I would have to agree with that. That's a good trait for people to have, particularly nowadays where it's who can shout the loudest. And that's how everything seems to happen. If you listen to the radio or you watch the TV and any type of issues, there's a lot of yelling back and forth. And the only thing that happens now is it just keeps getting louder and louder and louder. So a way of breaking through would be if you can control your audience and manage your audience by speaking softly. That's a really good thing. And you know what? We need more of that.
Yeah, I thought I like that too. You did something hurtful. If I never bring it up, I'm considering leaving you.
This is a man thinking this?
This is a man thinking this. You did something hurtful. If I never bring it up, I'm considering leaving you.
Or you could bring it up and still be considering leaving you. So I don't think it's a lock. They're both locked in. I think there's two separate issues. You did something hurtful, and I'm thinking of leaving you. Could one, ignite the other, incite it? Sure, but I don't think it's. I think they can both be mutually exclusive. You hurt me, I'm going to leave you. I might leave you not because you hurt me, because of other things. So,
Yeah.
I
kind of
just
took
my
the
interpretation.
I took the implication here, and I'll ask Bob about it. Is that when there's something wrong, that men don't bring it up, they just don't talk about things.
I would disagree with that. I think
Okay.
what men are pretty good at is if everything's good, they don't say anything. So I think that's really more of the truth there. If
Okay.
something bothers them, I think guys bring it up, and then you have a discussion about it, and then afterwards, that's that. You don't pound it to death if you're a guy. You just, we bring it up, we hear what you have to say, and that's it. We may agree or disagree. Now, could that impact the future of the relationship? Sure, it could, depending on the issue. But a lot of times guys will just hear you out, and they don't want to just wrestle with you forever about a specific topic just to get you to agree, whatever. They want to make sure they were heard, and then they want to see how you're reacting. And if it's good, that makes the issue go away. And if it's not good, then the issue festers, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
That would be my take on it.
Yeah. Well, interesting. That's what I wanted. I want to get your take. Now, here's one that when it came up, I was actually thinking about doing a segment on this, and then talked to a couple men. I was going, nah, we don't really care about this. Nobody's going to admit to this, and that is, if I'm losing my hair, it's not funny. Would you like me to joke about your weight?
Well, I think, for both, listen, they're both sensitive issues. If you want, if your wife's gaining weight and you want to give her a hard time about it, good luck. And the same thing, if your, husband's losing his hair's getting short or whatever. I'm not saying anything about myself, of course, but yeah, they're sensitized about it and they want to look good. So eventually, it's like how short can you cut your hair? Unless you're going to do something else about it. But yeah, these are sensitive topics. People are, they have pride, and for men, they don't have that much control about their hair, and women, they have, sometimes there's issues with terms of weight gain and stuff like that. So I think we all have to be kind and not like rub stuff in people's face, particularly as long as the person's trying. If a woman's trying to lose weight and she's doing stuff, you got to encourage her. And if a guy, he's dealing with his hair's going away, you want to help him out, feel good about himself, because you can still be a handsome guy and not have as much
exactly
hair as
just look what I found interesting in this, because a lot is written about men. The hair loss industry is incredibly huge, and men are subject to ridicule and jokes when they go bald. And I was wondering, is this something worth talking about, especially if you're dating, or how much do women really want hair? As a matter of fact, I watched a rerun of Seinfeld. The whole episode was on that, about Elaine's boyfriend is bald, and anyway, it was very funny. But was it funny? So anyway, and again, I'm not sure if it's worth a whole segment or not. So yeah, men, leave us your comments. Do you want us to dig into this a little bit deeper? Then here, I want every man to envy me when we arrive as a couple. Please don't let yourself go.
It's a bit strong of a statement. I think people want, you want. I don't think envy is necessarily the word, but you want other people to respect you and say, hey, what a great couple. And so I think both people, instead of a man saying, hey, babe, don't let yourself go, I think he should focus on not letting himself go. And then the couple can encourage one another to do their very best. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it's like, I got to look good here, so you better keep up the program, honey. I don't think that's fair. And I don't think it's necessarily true. If it is true, it's ego-driven. And there's a lot of ego-driven stuff coming from guys. So it's understandable, but I don't think it's a great thing, a great attribute or perspective.
Yeah. I don't always know how I feel. That's why I don't tell you.
That could be true. You don't have to have a definitive feeling about everything. It could be kind of neutral, or like, hey, I'm observing this, I'm witnessing, I haven't made any determination, or maybe this is something I don't need to make a determination on. I just want to go with the flow and see where it nets out. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Actually, I think we need more of that, because it seems like everybody lands on one side or the other on every issue known to mankind now, and it's a little too rigid, because there's a lot of gray. It's not all black and white.
Yeah. This one too. I don't like to argue, and I don't like to guess what's wrong. Just tell me so I can fix it.
I would say that's a truth that's pretty true. That I'm not saying it's necessarily fair, but I think a lot of guys think that, hey, if you just tell me, then I can work on it. If you don't say anything, I'm not a mind reader. And I think women want guys to be a little bit more on the ball, where they're realizing that something's lacking, or she's unhappy about something here or there, and they want men to be proactive emotionally as well as doing stuff too. Hey, this area of the house needs to be cleaned. I'll just do it, instead of my wife or my mate asking me to do something. Just do it. And I think we need more of that. And so I understand the truth to the fact that guys, if you say, hey, Joe, I need this, usually they'll do it. But I think women would expect guys to be, do I really have to tell you? And I think that's fair that men to be need to be a little bit more paying attention to what's going on besides just their own affairs that they can pitch in and for the betterment of the relationship.
Yeah. Thank you for your great explanation on that. I have two more that I think
Yeah.
are interesting and maybe
So
even
I
deep.
wonder if all the men are mad at me now. I don't
No.
know. God, sorry, guys.
We'll find out. Sometimes I have weird, strange, or very sexual thoughts. I don't take them seriously, and I don't want to share them with you or anyone.
Well, the first part of that, I definitely am guilty of for sure. The second part, I guess it depends on what exactly it is and how the mindset is of their partner. If they want to share some sexual fantasy with her, it, it- I guess you have to put it through some type of filter so it comes across as something that would be mutually beneficial and enjoyable, and keep it within the that it's not completely too far out there that you might scare your partner away or whatever. Uh, so I think you have to put it through a little bit of a filter. You just don't say anything, everything. You don't have to expose everything to your partner.
Right.
You can keep some stuff a little tucked away. A little bit of mystery is good.
Yeah. What I found so interesting about that is that everybody has thoughts that they would never share with anybody. Just the way our mind works. And I guess it's good to be aware of that. Maybe I don't know. It sort of brought everything down to a human level that we don't talk about. But yeah, we have thoughts that are our own, and we don't we don't need or want to
Hmm.
share them. So I thought that was interesting. Last one, and then I'll let you go. If you cheat on me, it is nearly impossible for me to get over it.
I would say that's true for I would think a majority of men. That what men consider cheating is you're having sex with somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you have a friend or something, from a female perspective, and correct me if I'm wrong here, if you have a intimate relationship that's not sexual, but it's still there's a privacy aspect of it, a intimacy, things maybe you're not sharing with them, that's as good as cheating.
Mm-hmm.
For a man, if you're doing this type of stuff, that is cheating.
Mm-hmm.
If you're having sex, that's cheating. The other stuff is like whatever. Um, so once you do that, you cross that line. That's a physical plane. Then that's tough to come back from if you get caught with that because they're going to ask themselves, "What am I doing wrong? Why is she doing this?" etc. And it's tough to come back from that. But I think the perspective, the female male perspective on what is cheating is a little bit different. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tiffany.
I know I agree. And I think sometimes for women, an emotional affair, if you will,
Right.
it can be
Yes.
more detrimental than actually a physical one. You can almost get over if it's a some one night stand I mean not that that's okay,
Right.
but you can almost deal with a one night stand if that happens to you than somebody that he sees on a regular basis whether he's sleeping with her or not, and they have some sort of engagement. So yeah, but again, this being about men, I can totally understand this would be something that digs at you all the time, and I think women do need to
Yes.
know once you're to the cheating stage, you've put something into play that you may not be able to come
Right.
back from, and
Hmm.
I agree with that. I thought it was interesting. There's so many more. Again, something we can talk about forever. But I thought these were really interesting. They made me think, and I thought it'd be fun to talk
Hmm.
to Robert about it. So thank
A
you,
lot of
Bob. If
fun.
you see this, I'm going to talk to you about it as well. Robert, anything you want to add on this before we cut off?
I think I think first, thank you, Bob Grant. And we have to, when we have universal truths, we have to look at them from with a little bit of elasticity
Right.
because what might be true for somebody might not be true for somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So I this we have to keep an open mind on that stuff, but it's a lot of fun and there are some truths in there. So take it with a grain of salt, but there are some insights there. So good job.
Yeah. Thank you, Robert. We will link to all of your information, to your website, to your book, to your radio show and YouTube channel. And thank you again. And I'll see you next time on Second Act TV.
All right. Thank you, Silka.
If you haven't done so already, please be sure to subscribe to our channel. The button is right here. Just click on through to YouTube, and when you see the little bell right next to the subscribe button, hit that too, and we'll notify you every time we launch a new video. See you next time.